Welcome to the Comfortable in Chaos Podcast. Strangle your demons and let's go.
Y'all need Jesus!
Y'all, what is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Welcome to the Comfortable in Chaos Podcast. I am your host, Eric Hellberg, and you know we're like Einstein over here, men. We have no special talents. We're just passionately curious about all things pertaining to men. How in the hell did we get here, and where is it that we want to go? Brief chuckle from the studio. I do have a center glass in here, and when I started saying, "War, good God," y'all, my daughter peeked her head in here like, what the hell is Dad talking about now? All right, I'm back on task. Here we go. I'm going to tell you today, man, that war is good. I'm here to tell you today, man, that life is war. Now, we are going to expound upon that topic, and we are going to develop it, and it may be 2 episodes. So let us begin. I never really followed Marco Rubio. Of course, he's of Cuban descent, strong following down there in South Florida. He is one of our United States senators. I always found him unusually bright, quick-witted, but in some ways feeble, a little bit pretty boyish, effeminate, and that just ain't my cup of tea. It makes it seem like acting, pandering. However, when asked if he was going to request that a ceasefire occur in Gaza, he said no. Hamas are animals. They deserve to be eradicated. The reporters pressed on. What about the 15,000 people, women and children, who have been slaughtered? It's amazing. Slaughter actually, in my mind, means not decimated by a bomb and or an artillery shell. To me, I picture almost like a katana slashing through, kind of like what the Japanese used to do to women, infants, people. And very much akin to what Hamas did as they went in there and ravaged innocent people. Should they have wanted to simply attack soldiers, they could have. They could have targeted military installations all around the periphery of Israel. They know where every one of them is, but that was not their intent. Their intent was to wreak havoc on the civilian populace, i.e. the definition of terrorism, create fear. But you know what? Spit. Even a savage is smart. You don't think a lioness can watch a warthog going down a trail, have another lioness laying in wait upon that trail, flush out that warthog from behind into the snarling teeth and vicious paws of the other lioness? Well, of course, you can be savage and you can be smart. What Hamas was banking on, though, was that they could make their bidding done, and that Israel, the IDF, would be held back in its response because they had deliberately put their hospitals underground, under the civilian populace. They had embedded in normal business operations. They knew that they would blend in and hide within their people, of which they don't give one fuck about, other than to achieve their aims. And they knew that in order to be ferreted out and or destroyed, they would have to, meaning Israel, kill lots of civilians. So what does Marco Rubio say? It's horrifying that those civilians have died. But Hamas is to blame. And guess what? That was a hellified strong stand. And guess what? Marco Rubio is right. And here's another thing. Proportional war sucks. Let's go to the playground when you're growing up. A bully comes up to you and he punches you in the nose. All right, stand up for yourself. Punch him back in the nose. What if the fighting doesn't stop? What if he maybe puts his tail between his legs for that day only? What if he comes back in 2 days and punches you in the nose again? And then you punch him in the nose. Well, eventually you're going to have to kick the shit out of him, kick him in the balls, bite him on the ear, punch him in the nose, and hit him on the head, because war is inconsequential and ineffective in proportionality unless what you do is sufficient to bring about peace. Proportional war does not exist. Now, some of these players here, follow me, are to a lesser and a greater degree responsible. And by the way, should you ever feel like you have languished and not performed to your capacity in life, take umbrage in this. It only took 4 presidents combined in 22 years to basically remove the Taliban or to render them ineffective in Afghanistan, and then after 4 presidents to give it back to the Taliban. Was that effective war? Or was that proportional war? So Israel, press forward until you have rendered a peace, and that may require an entire decimation. We haven't done that in a long, long time. Now Biden's in the hot seat because Israel's getting jiggy, right? And his supporters, oh Lord, these Palestinians are in a hell of a mess, aren't they? My gosh. What happened in World War II? We would firebomb Munich, we would firebomb Dresden, even carried over into Japan, Tokyo. We'd kill 100 grand a night. That was more in any one event than even the atomic bombs. Not with the fallout, not with the radioactivity, not with people who died shortly thereafter because of the wounds therein from the initial explosion. But we would incinerate people, women and children. We knew we were not fighting a proportional war. You notice once we stopped doing that, we have never won a war. We just go back and forth with the bully on the playground, punching each other in the nose. And if you're cool with that, then you're basically a damn warmonger. You're like a Lindsey Graham. And I'm even going to say a John McCain. Do we honor his service? Absolutely, we honor his service. Now, I'll tell you about set a whole damn aircraft carrier ablaze. We know his dad was an admiral. We know his grandpa was an admiral. We know he was pampered, babied, although he graduated last in his class, was not a top performer while he was in the Navy as an aviator, eventually got shot down. I'm not going to destroy his flying cred. I don't know exactly what happened on that mission. Now, did something happen to him in the Hanoi Hilton? He went through hell. Absolutely, and I will tell you, he developed some real courage because he had a chance, because of his stature, to be released early. But he negated it and he stayed there. But then over the course of time, I don't know if that trauma did it to him. McCain also became a warmonger. Oh yeah, not that he so much loved war, but like Lindsey Graham, they became like Roman senators. They fell in love with the business of war, kind of like Hillary Clinton. So in essence, war is a little bit like the Great Commission. Go out into this dark world and bring it light. Basically, what we are saying is something is unacceptable. It needs to change. And guess what? That is war. So let's wrap this up. Move along on this concept of war is good and life is war. Until next time on the Comfortable in Chaos podcast, we'll be back tomorrow with episode 2. I bid you bon voyage, my burgeoning flock.
Until next time, like and subscribe to the Comfortable in Chaos podcast.